All right, this is Alonzo Peters and Elijah Lewis out here, the Honorable Elijah Lewis running for office. I don't see his badge today, but he's running for the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 7, number 1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we just happened to be mentioning a couple things here that are of historic value, including that involving the Allen family and some of the other great musicians here that are in town. I just want to take a little time out and ask him some questions. We hope it's okay with you to take your time up because we know it's valuable. We're here reporting live on the parking lot of Alfreda's. This is a Black historical moment. Elijah, tell me a little bit about what you did back in the day in terms of at your junior high.
Well, I went to Miller Junior High School, which is right there on Cleburne, and I was taught by James Harrison. He taught me how to play my trumpet, and he had beginners and then intermediate, and of course he had a full band. He also had an orchestra, string ensemble, and Felicia Broussard was playing violin. Debbie Allen was playing string bass. I was involved in that orchestra, playing my trumpet. He had us with very no nonsense about the music. He taught us how to read music. I made sure that when we had our concerts that the guys had to go and rent tuxedos. We would have tuxedos, and the ladies would have long formal dresses when we would have our concerts. We had a concert every semester.
And this director, Mr. Harrison, did he just pass?
He passed about 2 years ago.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned a very kind of interesting event that happened when you all were playing a concert one time at Wheatley. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Well, you know, it was so important, music was such a big deal that they had the best from all the junior high schools gather and make an all-city band. And we happened to have our rehearsal at Wheatley High School, and Professor Mosley was doing the directing. And we were sitting there playing the Dvorak Symphony No. 5, and a big rat just ran right through the band. And we were so intimidated by Mosley, we didn't stop playing. We just kept going.
Y'all didn't miss a note, did you?
No, we didn't.
Tell us a little bit about what you knew about Skeets Toliliver, and what was your experience with him?
Well, he was the Pied Piper. He had a music shop attached to his home over there on Delano. And the word, of course, got around real quick that if you needed something, especially if you needed quick, you needed to go to the Pied Piper. Like if you were a musician and needed a reed, you needed some valve oil, you needed to get your horn fixed, you go to the Pied Piper. He supplied us with all those kind of things that that you need on a regular basis, and of course he was in the community, so it was easy to get to.
Now you mentioned, and I want to cut you off. You mentioned Skeets, but had you known of any notoriety he had before that, and what part did he play as far as contributing to your band over there at Miller?
Well, I didn't at the time. I didn't know about his notoriety. Later on, I found out that he had been one of the big band people and had played with some of the top people in the industry. He actually arranged a couple of pieces for the Yates band.
Possibly even that Hail to the Chief.
Yes,
that you played
yeah, we had to play
when
Hail
Johnson
to the Chief.
came in, right?
Yes, when Lyndon Johnson came through, we had to play Hail to the Chief. I think he arranged that music so we'd learn how to play it and stand on the sideline and play for that. And of course, we played at a Muhammad Ali fight also.
Right.
The bass band played, and Felicia was the drum major at.
What year was that you were playing Felicia and Debbie and all those great
that was,
musicians?
Probably most likely from 65 to 67.
I got you. Mm-hmm. And tell me a little bit about what happened as far as the articulation of all the junior highs from around the city at your church. What happened at your church?
Well, my church.
And what is your church?
My church is St.John Baptist Church on Dowling Street. At the time, it was kind of like the mega church in the city of Houston, and we had bands. We had standalone bands, 2 of them. And we played every Sunday morning. And many of the musicians learned how to play there.
And you say learn how to play, you mean as far as improvisation or as far as playing period?
The playing period, because there was a guy named D.C. Chapman who taught music. He taught you how to play your trumpet or clarinet or whatever. He taught music at the church. And a lot of musicians came through St. John or if you didn't come through there to learn, you certainly came there to hone your skills.
Yeah, yeah. So y'all kind of came from all the junior high. Tell us a little bit about Broussard, the name Broussard. How does that come up?
Mr. Broussard taught at Ryan Junior High. There was Ryan Junior High School, which is located on Elgin, and of course Miller High was junior high at the time, was located on Cleburne. And some very famous people went to Ryan Junior High. In fact, Ryan had been the former Yates. That building had been the former Yates.
I didn't know that.
So some people had come through Ryan, taught by Mr. Broussard, including James Bolden, Ronald Thornton. I'm not sure if Tex was there or if Tex went to Miller. But
no problem. Let me ask you this, and I'm cutting you off again, but what type of notoriety did Tex Allen have at that time? What had you heard about Tex Allen?
Well, he was the trumpet player at Yates. Everybody knew that he was the solo trumpet player, and he was somebody. He was the man, and we all aspired to go over there and be like him.
Be like Tex. Okay, that's who right. was the director at Kashmir at that time?
At Yates was Will Henry Bennett.
Of course, I had a little slip there. Who was the director at Kashmir?
PROF.
Right, PROF. And PROF was one of the main ones that did what first?
He taught jazz.
He was the one that introduced jazz to the youngsters, and
that's right.
And got them. And of course, we saw the movie.
Yes.
The Sound of Thunder. And,
right.
And they still have a group named after him.
That's right.
Yeah. Anybody else that we're leaving out on this historical moment? I know we probably talked about some other people, but what else happened over there at the church while you're talking?
Well, we had another band director named Eddie Simmons. He was a little bit more into improvisation than Chapman. Chapman was by the book.
Right.
But Eddie would add a little bit to the music and maybe have a bass line that would come out. And so he encouraged you to learn how to transpose and how to improvise a little bit.
Who was over at Wheatley?
Mosley. Dr. Mosley was at Wheatley.
Dr. Mosley.
Yes, he was
Dr. Mosley.
A band
Describe
director.
him. Did you ever see him?
Yes, he was tall.
Describe him. Tall and
tall.
What kind of complexion?
Dark.
Okay.
Dark complected.
Okay.
Another no nonsense music.
What happened? What happened to you when you did a little nonsense? And you know we all had a little nonsense in it. What happened?
Well,
what happened?
Junior high school, Mr. Harrison would come up, say, "Come up here," and he would you bend over and he'd hit you with that baton, and it would wrap right around your skull. It would hurt.
On that note, we're thankful for all the discipline we got back there.
That's true.
This is Alonzo Peters, MD, and Elijah Lewis reporting to you live from Alfreda's parking lot right here on this historical moment. Over and out.
Okay.